Oh, Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranatakleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. In the shortest chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Geetā, as we studied the first 12 verses, we may say, looking back, there was a wonderful discussion.
iPhone storage is always full. You know why? Old people always make these 3 big mistakes. Let me show you. Number 1 is deleting photos manually. Number 2 is deleting all the apps on the phone. Number 3 is buying for cloud storage.
We saw in the early part of the chapter that there was this discussion on which is better, which is more commendable, which is what Sri Krishna would advise everyone. Among, when we say which is, the point is among the 2 options, adoring the Supreme Truth in a personified manner and adoring the Supreme Truth in an impersonal manner. This boils down to use 2 traditional words, Saguna and Nirguna. Saguna can be Sakara or Nirakara, but with attributes is one camp, and Nirguna is necessarily Nirakara. When it has no attributes at all, you cannot conceive of some form, some particular relationship, and so on. So, for simplicity, we may say the attribute-less Nirguna and God with attributes Saguna. In addition, it could be Sakara, that is by the side. And Sri Krishna, keeping in mind the vast majority of people on the earth, praised the Saguna Upasana. He does it all the more because the immediate previous chapter was a grand spectacle of Vishvarupa. And in Vishvarupa, you see Akara, form, also Guna, countless qualities, attributes, and graceful dimensions of God are all displayed in that cosmic form. So no wonder he praises it. He calls them Yuktatamaha. Mayaveshya mano ye mam nitya yukta upasate shraddhaya parayopetaha te me yuktatama mataha was the immediate answer that Sri Krishna gives responding to the question of Arjuna. If the first verse of this chapter was the question of Arjuna, in the second verse, Sri Krishna gives the reply, they are better positioned who visualize God in a personified manner, as father, as brother, as it could be sister also, no gender bias, mother. And in this way, the Upasaka looks at himself as an admirer, separate from God who is admired, or adored. However, to do justice to the entire science of Adhyatma Vidya, Sri Krishna hastens to add in verses 3 and 4, Ye tu akshara manirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate. In two verses, Bhagavan Sri Krishna goes out of his way, we may say, to completely justify and in fact praise the Jnana Marga also. The path of knowledge here refers to adoring the Supreme Reality as formless, nameless, attributeless, inexpressible, unmanifest, which is all pervasive, all mind blowing pointers to what we call in the Vedas, in the Upanishads, Brahman. As you have in Mundaka Rishi Angirasa says to the student, who is also a great scholar, Shaunaka, Yattadadre shamagrahya magotramavarnamachakshushrottram tadapani padam nityam vibhum sarvagatam susukshmam, a long list of pointers. We would not call them descriptions. In fact, every one of them defies description. That which has no source, that which is all pervasive, that which is without a cause, that which has no legs, no feet, no hands, no eyes, that which is not this, that which is not that. The celebrated Neti Neti of Yajnavalkya in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, in a sense, is expressed by Sri Krishna when he says in the third and fourth, Yatta Ye chapyaksharam avyaktam. Akshara avyaktam. So without going long on this, in fact, I thought it is pertinent to touch upon this because what we will now take up, according to Sri Adi Shankaracharya, is a portion consisting of some 6 or 7 verses, which, according to Adi Shankaracharya, is a description of not Saguna Bhakta, but Akshara Upasaka. While a hasty reading or those who directly read the shlokas would imagine that this is about Saguna Bhakta. But Shankara says it is Akshara Upasaka's description. What makes most people imagine the verses 13 to 19 to be of Saguna Bhakta is the word Bhakta is used again and again. Same Bhaktaha Priyaha, Sa Bhaktaha me Ativa Priyaha. That Bhakta, that Bhakta, that Bhakta. The word Bhakta is used. But Sri Shankaracharya is of the opinion that Sri Krishna's purpose here is to show the greatness, the glory of Akshara Upasakas, who out of that abidance in the indescribable, all the same find these divine qualities expressing in them spontaneously. They don't have to cultivate these virtues. They don't have to struggle. They don't have to go through the path of thinking. They abide by the pure self. And Atmanishta naturally has all these wonderful divine aspects of one's personality. Therefore, we must once more remember that this whole chapter keeps in mind Saguna Upasaka, which is popularly called Bhakti Yoga, and Nirguna Upasaka, which is popularly known as Jnana Yoga. Having said this, we will now take up how after the 12th verse, where, as we saw, it was a special verse which praised Tyaga. In context, Karma Phala Tyaga. talking about 4 levels in increasing ease or decreasing hardship. In that order, Sri Krishna touched upon, if nothing else is possible, O Arjuna, please do karma phala tyaga. First he said, all the time fix your mind in God. That is next to impossible for almost everybody. Then do practice here and there, sit down. And then if that is also not possible, level C, in whatever work you do, offer it all to God. Karma samarpana. And even that suppose is difficult for you, Arjuna, you may please offer phala. Never complain about what you got in life. Never worry about what future may hold for you. For what comes to you is phala. What you do is karma. And karma yoga is rooted in the philosophy that you must always try to give your best. Of course, keeping track or taking note of what you got, but not to waste energy on it. There's a big difference. You must keep in mind why you do some work, and you must know whether some work succeeded or failed. If it failed several times, you need to think about it, and maybe you should take some other work. You are not meant for this work, or in a certain place, you work hard, but there are no rewards at all. Yeah, going by common sense, you may gently move away and start working at some other place. All that common sense is never dismissed in spiritual science. But even as you, let us say, do not get enough of salary, compensation, reward, appreciation, etc., day and night you fret and fume, you fill your mind with negativities, or you fill your mind with self rejection. I am such an unfortunate, unlucky person, and so on. That kind of emotional waste of time is strongly discouraged by Sri Krishna. No matter what came to you, don't worry about it. Sit down and plan your next course of action. That is phalatyaga. In simplest terms, phala is what you got, what you are getting, and what you will get. Whereas karma is what you did, what you are doing, and what you will do. Focus on your karma being better and better, more loving, more focused, more intelligent, and so on. Having said that, in this 12th verse, after explaining the meaning of the 12th verse itself, the 12th verse, as you saw, ends with the expression Tyagat Shanti Anantaram. If you have the spirit of letting go, don't hold on, letting go, don't hold on to what you got. Let go. If somebody insulted you, move on. Somebody praised you, there also, don't stick to it. Don't cling to the pleasant memory. How much he praised me, wow. No. Move on as though nothing happened at all. That is Tyaga, and that gives you peace. Having commented on that shloka, taking every word, Adi Shankaracharya made a very powerful comment. This level B, level C, level D, etc., are all meant for those who do not have adequate appreciation of the pure self. They are ajnas. Ajna literally means ignorant. Ignorant here is specifically with reference to the nature of pure self. Either they have never understood, or even though they had some glimpses of understanding, their mind is so worldly, their mind is so attached to I, me, and my. Their thoughts are all the time revolving around where have I come, how far I have to go, how I was, I. They have this bug of self-evaluation, self-assessment. There are some students who are around certain teachers. They have only one question after attending a 1000 Vedanta lectures. Swami, Guru, tell me whether I will realize in this life, and so on. That's a bug actually, whether it is in some mundane activities or in spirituality, to be unduly obsessed with whether I will win or not actually spoils the whole beauty of that sadhana itself. Therefore, we commented on this even in Tyagat Shanti Anantaram. Meditate without worrying about whether this meditation is going to be successful, is going on well, and so on. Do your work without worrying about whether you will be appreciated or not. So Sri Shankaracharya said quite a few words about how, as you may see, the first three words, ajnasya karmani pravrittasya. It's only if the spiritually ignorant. The context is the high plane of self-knowledge. Those who have no grounding in self-knowledge have no other option than to do karma yoga on B, C, and D. The level A rather goes well with Aksharopasakas too, for it is being in thoughts of God all time. Mayi eva mana adatsva, mayi buddhim niveshaya. Very lofty level it is. But others are all meant for Arjuna. One more reason, Sri Krishna praised Bhakti Yoga in this chapter. As we said, the immediate answer of his was, whoever worships me in a certain form, looking at me with certain attributes, he is better placed. Te me yukta tamamata, second verse. One reason for that is, who is standing before him? Nachiketa is not standing before him. Uddhava is not standing before him. Or one of those students of the Upanishad, Shaunaka and others, they are not standing before. Maitreyi, a very old elderly woman, is not standing before Sri Krishna. Before Sri Krishna on this occasion was standing this hot-blooded Arjuna, Kshatriya, not just by birth but by guna also, guna, karma and janma. All three, going by all three, he was a Kshatriya. And therefore, keeping him in mind, Sri Krishna first answered, whoever adores Saguna Sakara Brahma is better placed. Because common sense has it that finally what works best is important. There may be very sophisticated, for example, in these days, gadgets, but you don't know how to operate. Nowadays, this AI has come in a big way. But even now, as I am talking, vast majority of even educated people are nowhere near ChatGPT, or hence there are so many other AI software. Because they just cannot at this age, they're already a bit old and so on. They don't want to get down into it. So many ways of reading books on the screen have come, Kindle and other. But a lot of people who are above 50, 60, etc., openly say, we love printed books. Young people wonder, why are they not buying a Kindle? In one little Kindle, you carry 1000 books, if not more, more also. So, like that, there is this bhakti and jnana issue. A whole lot of people just cannot get into jnana. They justify their devotion, their commitment to bhakti. Therefore, Sri Krishna says, yes, that is wonderful. What works best for you is the most wonderful sadhana. That is how he said, Te me yukta tamamataha. But in the paragraph of Shankara Bhāshya that we already saw, Shankara makes it very clear. Basically, keeping in mind the large numbers of people, though they are ignorant, they are not so mature. Karma Yoga is praised, but we now come to certain portion starting from the 13th verse and explaining why these verses are given 13 to 19, that is 7 verses. And then there is, of course, a concluding verse, 20th, that sort of sums up what was said. Sri Shankaracharya says, all right, let us go into how these Akshara Upasakas have certain most wonderful aspects of personality naturally emerging in them. It may be a little puzzling. How come they did not consciously go into these virtues? But these virtues appear in them because you hold the pure self. The pure self is the launch pad of all these qualities. I'm referring to the qualities such as Adveshta Sarvabhutanam, with which the set of 7 verses begins. One who does not have even a trace of hatred, one who does not have even an iota of aversion or dislike or revengefulness or wanting to teach them some lesson and so on. Very rarely you find any human mind which is free from it. Therefore, there is so much bloodshed in the world. There is so much violence. That violence is increasing, is taking new forms. Even as we are talking here, several wars are going on in the world. A new war also might gain momentum. We don't know what will happen. And around the world, in almost every country, one community hates another, and there is mindless violence. So, when all that is going on, here is an Akshara Upasaka who Adveshta has no animosity towards anybody. So, Shankaracharya says, Atra cha Atmeshwara Bhedam Ashritya Vishwarupe Ishware Cheta Samadhana Lakshana Yoga Uktaha. So, on one hand, Bhedam Ashritya. If you are a Saguna Upasaka, you are of course going by, first of all, before anything else, a sense of Bheda. I am the worshipper, and over there is God who is worshipped. Atma Ishvara. Atma here means oneself in a simple sense. Jivatma. Jivatma and Parameshwara. Bhedam ashritya vishwarupe chetas samadhana lakshana. You start with that. In fact, all of us do it all the time. All the time when we relate to people, knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, we place ourselves somewhere, we place the person in front of us somewhere, and then on that basis, the behavior can be observed. Somebody gets up and goes and touches the feet in the Hindu tradition of an elderly man. Then why does he do that? Moment he sees this elderly man have come to this house, he says, oh, my guru has come, my grandfather has come, my eldest brother has come, and I am younger, I am his student, I am a beneficiary, I got so much from him. Therefore, so that idea of who he is, who I am, that is, so God is supreme, I am just a dust particle. Vedamashritya chetas, then you calm your mind, you train your mind, you send your thoughts in a certain channel. Ishwarartham karma anushthanadicha, countless rituals, spiritual practices, karma anushtana, are all done, never forget, with initially thinking of God in a certain way. You don't do any karma without defining who you are, without defining who in front of you is. This is so fundamental. In fact, sometimes A little weak, short guy is able to handle a tall, well built, strong looking person without any fear. You know why? The psychology behind it is though this short guy is short, weak, doesn't look all that strong, uh, but in his thoughts, he has the feeling I can handle three of those people. If he thinks of himself as I can handle, that confidence makes him do wonders. And many times to match this little guy, the other fellow, though he is so tall and well built and lot of muscle he has physically in the body, in his thoughts, he is nervous. He thinks that sometimes even little people can be too strong. I better not take this fellow for granted. I better agree to him. Therefore, in psychology, it is always pointed out that your thoughts are more critical than your outer appearances. Therefore, there are so many motivational workshops which try to inject into us self confidence. Say I can. If you say I can, you will be able to do, and so on. All these motivational workshops do some good, but they have serious limitations too. That's a different topic. After all, deep cleansing, removing some complexes, removing, let us say, lack of confidence in a very deep fashion is not done by simply sloganeering or simply writing something on the wall or keeping something on the table and repeating that to yourself. It's like a parrot was said, parrot was told, when hunter comes, please say to yourself, I cannot be caught, I'm going to fly now. But when actually the hunter came, a particular bird went on saying, I won't fear, I don't fear. But in his heart, in its heart, it was afraid, it fell down. It did not move at all. The hunter caught hold of it more easily than before. So simply repeating some words, simply mechanically going through some motion doesn't lead us anywhere. Therefore, in spirituality, we talk of things which are on a higher notch than motivational workshops. Motivational workshops have a lot of very, very good looking, flowery statements, and we are asked to use those statements to change ourselves. How can we change just by words, play of words? Flowery language will not take us anywhere. At the same time, words can give us a start. Therefore, go for greater, what is called deeper transformation. Therefore, lofty teachers always talk about radical change. Deep inside, you should change. Don't do things on the surface. Shankaracharya says, Ishwarartham karmanushtadicha ata etadapi ashaktosi. In the 11th verse, it was said to Arjuna, if you are unable to even do abhyasa yoga, then please go for, it was said earlier, you go for karma samarpana. If that is also not possible. Etadapi ashaktosi. Then sarva karma phalatyagam. Shankara wants to make it clear. This ashaktaha immediately implies ajnana. Ajnana karya suchana. Why are you unable to do? Because you are in the grip of spiritual ignorance. You do not know who you truly are. If you know who you truly are, you are ever free, you are the Chaitanya, you are the Satchidananda, you are pure awareness. Pure awareness cannot be cut by a sword, burnt by fire, and so on. Suppose you know that if you had the jnana, why would you try to control your mind? Go for some practices. Therefore, on higher planes of spiritual philosophy, even mind control is mocked at. Controlling the mind is mocked at. And people get confused when they read such literature. Because the popular spiritual literature says control your senses, control your mind, control your behavior. But on a higher level, the same business of control is made fun of. Rather, it is condemned. You try to control your mind, it gets further distorted. You are neither here nor there. All such things are said. There are certain teachers who speak on a very high level of philosophy, and that is also valid, but not all can understand them properly. But those who can understand that high philosophy and those who are geared for it will be immensely benefited by those philosophical discussions. Do not have any other thought, but they are minority. A smaller number normally can understand where, the philosophy where it is said, don't control the mind, rather understand the mind. Stand apart and watch your thoughts. Notice why there is anger. Closely observe your anger. Closely observe your lust. Closely observe your jealousy. In closely watching your jealousy, jealousy will vanish. This is not false, it is true. But not many can do that observation. So, what is the context here? Those who cannot be sakshi, witness of their thoughts, those in a split second get down to that old practice of I must control this thought. This thought is bad. I must now do something, and so on. They are, in the larger picture of the Vedanta, ajnanis. Here, ajnana is not to be taken as derogatory word. It doesn't really make any, it doesn't look at them with contempt. It is, in fact, compassion. Yeah, you are unable to watch your thoughts. You swing into action. You are so attached to action. It is like, what is that? That is some statement of Abraham Maslow. One who is good at hammer thinks of every problem as a nail. For a man who is good with hammer, any problem you give, he thinks it is a nail to be beaten with hammer. He's so used to the use of hammer. So most of us are like that. I have some students who are already doing so much anushtana, but every time they have some setback in life, they get upset. They think, Swamiji, do you think I should do some Hanuman Upasana? For yesterday, some incident disturbed me so much. I think I don't have a mental strength. I say, you already are doing Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama, this meditation, that Upasana. You already complain about not enough time to do what you have planned to do. On that, you want to. Because he almost decided. Sometimes such people come to teachers like us, really just for upachara, as they say. They already decided 11 times I will do Hanuman Chalisa from today onwards until I get supreme strength like Hanuman. So, why are they doing that? It is a hang up. Hang up. The man who is good at hammer has a hang up. Okay, pick up your hammer and let me know where to beat. This is not a problem of hammer and nail. So, ajnana karya. So I can go and on. I will not now because this ajnana, that is immaturity, that is inability to understand the subtler teachings of spiritual science, is so widespread in this world. So widespread. Therefore, there is violence. Therefore, there is discord. Shankaracharya is a Sukshmadarshi. Shankaracharya sees both Stula and Sukshma. So here he is saying this business of do abhyasa, do karmatyaga or karma samarpana, do falatyaga, that B, C and D. They are all for immature people, and whether you like it or not, Arjuna standing before Sri Krishna is spiritually immature. He may be a great hero, he may be a great archer, he may be somebody whom people adored. Today you have all Olympic gold winners, you have Grammy Award winners, they are winners of so many prashasti. You think they are all spiritually evolved? Spiritually they are so immature. Their personal life, if you see, they make blunders after blunders. Many times certain Hollywood or Bollywood stars have an unenviable personal life because they don't have true love in their heart, but they have a talent, they have certain skill. Therefore, they become popular, they make tons of money, and then that's it. So, Shankaracharya ruthlessly calls level B, level C, and level D Ajnana Karya Suchanat. You may not like it, but Shankaracharya doesn't care. He says, I must speak the truth. And then he says, Akshara upasakasya karma yogaha na upapadyate. If you are spiritually mature and you are able to sit in a Vedanta class with enjoying the pointers to the pure self. In the Kali Yuga, a lot of people attend Vedanta. But sorry to say, only 1 out of 100 truly enjoys the pointers to the pure self. They enjoy some side issues. They enjoy some secondary issues. They enjoy, for example, the beautiful metaphor of two birds on the same tree, because they love trees and they love birds. And when they see birds and trees coming in Upanishad, they say, I like this Upanishad. This is not about birds. This is not about trees. This is about the possibility of you undergoing total transformation. The first bird is crying. It sees the second bird, and through contemplation, through meditation, the first bird completely transforms itself. Paramam samyam upaiti, says the Upanishad mantra. The first bird in no time undergoes what you may call in biology metamorphosis. The first bird becomes as free, as happy, as unburdened, as joyous as the second bird. Paramam samyam upaiti. That how many people enjoy. Even those who say, I don't know, I enjoyed the central teaching. Double check again. Maybe you enjoyed the language. Maybe you enjoyed the way the speaker put it. Maybe you enjoyed the oratory. Maybe you enjoyed some figurative, idiomatic expressions. It happens. I have also gone through it. Even now I go through it sometimes. When I very much admired Eknath Ishwaran in the mid-90s, I went and met him 3 times in Northern California. He had much wonderful truth to speak, no doubt. But to a large extent, let me admit, Eknath Ishwaran's English was so superb, so wonderful, touch of humor. And I'm not a student of literature. He was a professor of English at University of California, Berkeley, on a Fulbright scholarship, came from India. So his language, his humor, his way of putting things was so appealing. Therefore, check out. Next time you say, I love Vedanta, please ask yourself, do you love the truth of Vedanta, or do you love Swami Chinmayananda's oratory, or Swami Dayananda's style of opening some Sanskrit words and placing before you in a very, very soothing manner? Is it love of language or love of truth? Is it love of the person or love of truth? Check out. Sri Shankaracharya, I would say, ruthlessly. He doesn't care if somebody doesn't like this. He says, Aksharopasakasya karma yoga na upapadyate. If you and I are still attached to karma, day and night we think about this is to be done, that is to be done, in Laukika or in Adhyatmika context. I will do from today Hanuman Chalisa 11 times. Next week again something disturbs him. He says, in addition to Hanuman Chalisa, I will also chant something else. So many. I will do this, I will do this, I will do this. What should I do? That what should I do itself is sign of ignorance. There is nothing to be done on a higher plane. But you are not on the higher plane, therefore go ahead, do it. Go do it until one day certain purification of mind takes place. Then you see, I don't need to do anything more. I need to slow down a little. I need to contemplate upon certain very, very precious statements of the Vedanta. And then in that contemplation, many of my fears, many of my regrets, many of my forms of self-rejection vanish. Then I don't have to do more of karma. Therefore, a case is made for sannyasa. Sannyasa happens when one truly sees the unnecessary nature of more and more worldly activities or even so-called religious activities. Neither laukika karma nor vaidika karma. Therefore, the case is made karma sannyasa. Not easy for even many of us who are talking about all this. Acharya says, karma yoginaha akshara upasana anupapattim darshayati. For akshara upasaka, karma yoga is not relevant. And for karma yogi, akshara upasana is equally irrelevant. See the two sentences. Abheda darshinaha karma yogaha na upapadyate. Karma yoginaha akshara upasanam na upapadyate. Upapatti, upapadyate, same. These are two different camps. And all through Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna talks about it. Fifth chapter, sixth chapter. Sixth chapter is to say, Arurukshor Muner Yogam Karma Karanam Uchyate. Until our mind is not pure enough, until we do not have enough detachment, we must do karma. Karma Karanam. And same you and me, as by God's grace get greater purity of mind, which is mainly measured by the yardstick of Vairagya, yoga arudasya tasya eva shamakarana muchyate. We only say, you and I, at a certain other point, become fit for letting go of this doing, and stay by contemplation, by meditation. We stay with the truth. That doesn't mean we become lazy. We may be still doing some laukika, some Vaidika karma, but it's more spontaneous, more without any desire. We do it out of love. We don't have a compulsion. Whereas people who are on a lower level become restless if they don't do some work. Work gives them a sense of identity. I did this and so on. Not so with the spiritually mature people. Bhagavan darshayati te prapnuvanti mameva iti aksharopasakanam kaivalya praptau swatantra muktva. Is this a new point or had this come before? Shankara says in this chapter itself, fourth verse talked about Akshara Upasaka. Those two verses actually, 3 and 4. Ye chapyaksharam avyaktam tvari and they also reach mameva prapnuvanti. That's what Shankara quotes here. Swatantram. So then they don't have to do any puja? No. They don't have to. If they do, fine. You find even Shankaracharyas performing 2 hours puja in Sringeri, Kanchi, etc. Yeah, that is fine. They are also holding a certain position, and as an example for thousands or tens of thousands or 100,000 people who look up to them, they do those things. There's some achara they keep. But actually they are swatantra. Swatantra meaning they are free. They don't have to do. They are not puja tantra, they are not karma tantra, but swa tantra. They can do or they need not do. Itaresham paratantram, dependence. Most of us, suppose we don't do some work, it's not the money, it's not need really, but we feel low. What is this? I am wasting my time here. I better go back and take a job. I don't need money, but you know, life looks meaningless if I am not working. A lot of people go back to work because they can't keep quiet. They have become paratantra. Work gives them a sense of, I am somebody. And meditating, studying scriptures looks very boring to them, to be truly speaking. Ishvara adhinatam darshitavan. So in Saguna Upasana, on one hand you do karma, on the other you say, I can't, God will lift me. And Sri Krishna compassionately has endorsed it. Teshamaham samudharta, this chapter itself. Mrityu samsara sagarat, bhavamina chirat partha, maya veshita chetasam. Beautiful shloka. If you think of God as separate from you, God says, fine. If you truly love me, I'll take care of everything. Everything, I'll lift you. Therefore, Bhakti Yoga again and again is endorsed also by Bhagavan. But according to Shankaracharya, it is out of compassion. Technically speaking, this Saguna Upasana is a notch below. It's a lower path. However, lower or higher, if it works better for you, but you must go for it. Don't get confused. Don't just looking at somebody who is studying all the time pure Vedanta, doesn't do puja, doesn't do japa, doesn't, you know, don't get confused by such examples. There are some people in this world always. Leave them alone. You do what works for you. In that sense, Teshamaham Samudharta is the dualistic context. Yadi hi Ishwarasya Atmabhutaha te mataha, if there is a sense of I am, that's Atma, and Ishvara also is my Atma. I am Ishvara's Atma, Ishvara is my Atma, that is Abheda, as the next word goes. Abheda Darshitvat, Akshara Rupaha Evate iti. They be themselves then are that undecaying Akshara Tattva. And Acharya rightly says, Samudharana Karma Vachanam Apeshalam Syat. This business of God will lift you is inappropriate. Apeshalam or ayuktam in some versions is inappropriate. Please see Shankara's candidness. He is so straightforward. He calls a spade here. That beautiful shloka, Teshamaham samudharta, I lift them from the ocean of death. Shankaracharya says that belongs to a lower level of philosophy. Who is to lift whom? The Akshara Upasaka is one with God. When God and Jiva are one, who lifts and who is lifted? Apeshalam, Samuddarana Vachanam, Apeshalam Syat. This is a strong paragraph, very strongly worded. But what about Arjuna? Poor Arjuna is not on that level of Akshara Upasaka. Yasmacha Arjunasya Atyantameva Hitaishi Bhagavan. And Bhagavan, though he recognizes Arjuna to be on a lower plane, has such unconditional love for Arjuna. Hitaishi, he is a well-wisher, a very pure, total well-wisher. Therefore, Samyak Darshana Ananvitam Karma Yogam Upadishati. Ananvitam, and there may be some other versions, some other Anaganditam or something, whichever your book has. But what is meant is unconnected with Samyak Darshana. Arjuna is nowhere near Samyak Darshana. Therefore, Arjunasya Hitaishi Samyak Darshana Ananvitam, unconnected, is not on that level of Samyak Darshana, seeing the truth as it is. Arjuna sees duality. He is soaked in duality. As sometimes we say, he is neck deep in duality. Thoda bacha hai. The upper face alone is above water. When you are neck deep in a pond, you know. Once I fell down into a river in Florida. My condition was like this. Up to neck there was water. Luckily the water was shallow. And then with a little swimming I knew. And my couple of students said, "Can you swim that distance?" Because the boat turned upside down. Near Orlando, there are a lot of lakes and rivers where there are what they call, they use another alligators. So we don't know, we didn't see, but the suspicion is, as we were going by that little boat just for some fun, it is suspected. A baby alligator perhaps came and hit our boat, and it also got frightened, it ran away or swam away. And our boat went upside down. We were not wearing even life jackets. Terrible. But I was neck deep. I got slight wounds. My glasses were lost. Those details are not necessary. So neck deep means a little more than you would have drank. You would have drunk water, and maybe your life was in danger. But I don't know swimming very well, but I can take a deep breath, and then tap, 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 I can go some 15 feet. I did that day. There was some island-like place nearby. And then the students lifted me up and all that. So those who are neck deep into the Veda Drishti, Arjuna was like that. To them, Sri Krishna, Veda Drishtim Antameva Upadishati. Whereas, Nacha Atmanam Ishwaram Pramanato Buddhva Kasyachit Guna Bhavam Jigamishati Kaschit. If you are able to appreciate your oneness with God, God's oneness with you, there is only one truth, and I am not separate from it, then who would want to go Guna Bhava? Guna Bhava is a secondary level, lower level. Mukhya Bhava, Guna Bhava. Jigamishati is wants to go. Who wants to go? Gantumichati is Jigamishati. It is called Sannanta. So Jigamishati, nobody would want to know to a lower level when she is very capable of operating on the higher level. Why would one compromise? That's what Shankara says, Virodhat. No one wants to, no one can. Tasmad aksharopasakanam samyak darshanishtanam sannyasinam. Some people may say Shankaracharya doesn't have to take all these verses for Aksharopasaka. Those verses can be equally used to praise Saguna Bhaktas, because good qualities Saguna Bhaktas also have. So it's possible. Maybe Shankaracharya, all said and done, has a little, special love for sannyasis. It is said that he made so many people into sannyasis. Buddha also was criticized, made young people into sannyasis. Therefore, society criticized Buddha, society criticized Shankara. Shankara is criticized for so many things. But in spite of all those criticisms which are around in the air about him even today, Shankara stands very tall with his comments on the very subtle Adhyatma Vidya. He is a very, very tall figure in spiritual domain. Tasmad aksharopasakanam samyak darshana nishtanam sannyasinam. Those who don't like sannyasa and sannyasis, there are many who don't like sannyasis. Moment they see, people are full of various prejudices. Once I met some people who were very much adoring Tibetan monks, but they never liked Hindu sannyasis. A strange prejudice. Both have left everything and become, you know, they become spiritually dedicated. But these people had some, immediately they would connect. Hindu sannyasi means some caste, this or that is in their head. Buddhist sannyasi means they imagine that Buddhist sannyasis are totally into only Buddha. They also go close to them. They also have enough of divisions, enough of dislikes, enough of prejudices. There are various Buddhist groups. And so Raga Dvesha are in every context. Anyway, Sannyasinam says Sri Shankaracharya, Satyakta Sarvaishananam Adveshta sarvabhutanam ityadi dharma pugam. Pugam is Rashi. Dharma Rashim Sakshad Amritatva Karanam Vakshyamiti Pravartate. The next shloka starts with this background. All these attributes, all these beautiful virtues are the fragrance of Atmanishta, of Akshara Upasana. This is what Shankaracharya says. Do Atma Chintana. Ramana Maharshi also said, Atmanishto Bhavatvam. Hridaya Kuhara Madhye Kevalam Brahma Matram Yahamahamithi Sakshad Atma Rupena Bhati. Hridi Visha Manasaswam Chinvata Majjatava. There is a famous Ekashloki of Maharshi Ramana. The punchline is, some way or the other, turn inward. Recognize the shining truth in your heart. In the cave of your heart, there is that pure truth. Recognize it. And the punchline, the fourth line of that Ekashloki is Atmanishto Bhavatvam. Become established in Atman. So Shankara and Ramana walk hand in hand in that sense. After this, we have Adveshta Sarvabhutanam, which even a karma yogi like Gandhiji loved. Gandhiji loved a couple of these verses. Not hating anyone. Even if they hurt us, let us not have even a trace of revengefulness towards them, and so on. You know that Gandhiji's life was highly, influenced by verses of Gita like this one. One is Adveshta Saurabhutanam, another is Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. Some of the Gita verses shaped his journey. So not hating anyone was something that deeply touched him. That is of interest to us. So I assure you, next time I will not touch any word of this Bhashya. Because if I take one sentence, so many thoughts rise. We will go straight to this shloka, straight to Adveshta Sarvabhutana. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Let's see, there may be a question or two. Hari Om and Namaste and Pranam, etc. has been said. Hari Om to all of you. Yes. Keshava Shastri says, Karma Phala Tyaga from a particular viewpoint is just being in the present moment. Wonderful. Because we don't care what we got. We have no regrets about maybe being less compensated. And we don't have undue anxiety about whether I will get a better salary. I'm in an example mode. I'm in the present moment. Well said. And he also adds, confidence looks like an attitude to life, but it is the result of a pure life. True. The healthiest form of confidence is not something you collect in a motivational workshop. The healthiest form of confidence is when we live a pure life, impurities go away. This lack of confidence, fearing unnecessarily, feeling some complex, is impurity. Chittasya ashuddhi. So, as he also adds, the questioner, as children, we got such daring thoughts which we don't get later. So true. We can't make confidence. It happens in purity. So true. Yeah, a child's mind has such purity. But as later on we get so much of ragadvesha, our mind gets very loaded with judgments. Then natural confidence is difficult. Okay. So hearing words, mere words like spontaneity or spontaneous actions, which is seen clearly in children, fills the mind with a deep sense of freedom. Right? These are magical words. What it is to be spontaneously kind and what it is to be kind after some thinking, between those two there is a difference. So virtues which come spontaneously means natural. without much planning or thinking. All right. So here we conclude for now. Next Wednesday morning in India, Tuesday evening in the West, we'll continue. Get down to the 13th verse. Harihi Om.